My sister is the most ridiculous, spoiled, rotten brat that you will ever meet. Well, guess what? She's about to get married, and I find out that she's having an affair, cheating on her soon-to-be husband, and guess when she did it? The day of her wedding. Well, my parents don't believe me, so I decide to get evidence. But I'm not going to stop there. I'm waiting until the wedding's about to take place, and I'm going to expose her. In front of everybody.
This is Ellie. I'm 30, female, and I want to share about my sister Hazel, who's 28. Last week it was her wedding, but sadly, it did not commence as planned. Her soon-to-be husband, Alex, 31, called it off at the last minute, and I held myself partly responsible for this. Let me explain. Before I jump into the incident, let me briefly describe my sister Hazel. She's my younger sister and the apple of my mother's eyes. Not because she's younger, but well, she's gorgeous. I grew up hearing Mother rant about her disappointment when she first saw me just moments after my birth. She was utterly shattered to find me not as cute as she expected. My mother is gorgeous and wishes to pass on good genes to her children. Unfortunately, I got my father's genes of brown eyes and not so sharp nose and thick lips. She was relieved only when my sister Hazel was born with the same features as my mother. Green eyes, a chiseled face, cut, and a sharp nose and beautiful lips. Not only the looks, but I guess I inherited my father's metabolism too, because I grew up to be a fluffy kid. Unlike my sister, who was always slim and gorgeous like my mom. Needless to say, I had to experience the horror of my house due to his striking differences between us. I spent most of my teenage years starving myself to stay fit, rather slim. I was belittled and ridiculed at the drop of a hat. I got the tiniest piece of a pie and smallest scoop of ice creams and absolutely no love and care. My dad, he's a businessman, and he used to be extremely busy while we were growing up. Apart from his day job, he worked evenings and weekends to set up his business. Dad was not biased like Mom, but did not take my childhood trauma to be serious. Whenever I would complain to him about Hazel or Mom, he would just ask them to apologize, and they would just say, "Oh, honey, I'm sorry you felt bad about that, but that was for your own good." Their apology sounded more like a snarky remark, and I stopped complaining to him. Despite this trauma, I was smart enough to understand that my education would have a more prominent role than my looks in the long run, and I focused on my academics. Since then, I topped my class for most of my school years. I never had a boyfriend until high school, primarily because of my low self-esteem. While my sister, although 2 years younger than me, was scoring half a dozen by the time we were in high school. I remember having my first boyfriend in my final year of school, and he was more of a friend-turned-lover, but the relationship was so short-lived. He was dated for just a few months when I learned that my sister, Hazel, slept with him. My ex-boyfriend gave an excuse that Hazel lured him into it, and I felt disgusted and swore to never introduce my boyfriend to my sister or mother again. I know the boy was not a saint to be manipulated into the bed, but that betrayal of your close family is way more hurtful than a boy. I went home and unleashed my anger on Hazel, who denied it, saying this was just a rumor. My mom sided with her, and they both portrayed me as delusional. So, a few weeks later, we argued over something, and Hazel blurted out that I deserved to be cheated on, and that my boyfriend used me as a ladder just to sleep with Hazel. As usual, my mom turned a blind eye to her Cinderella, her little mistake, and asked me to move on. That was my first heartbreak, and it was terrible because I had to see Hazel's face every day. After finishing school, I secured a seat in law college in the neighboring city and gladly moved out. Since then, I've met them on only a few occasions. A month ago, I got a call from my mother that Hazel was getting married to the man of her dreams, Alex. When I inquired about Alex, my mother only said he was rich and handsome. Well, I guess my mother's and sister's priority are pretty refined. Like, of course, why not? Hazel was drop-dead gorgeous and jobless, so she needed these two qualities in her man. My relationship with my mother has not been great. It never really blossomed. Although, after I started working for good law firms, her attitude toward me became a bit more civil. The snarky remarks have changed to polite suggestions of getting a nose job. When she invited me to the wedding, I subtly denied it, saying that my presence would be irrelevant, but she insisted that I attended. I was adamant about skipping, but my father said it would be a great way to spend quality time as a family, and I could not deny it, so I went. I reached my home on the night before, and my parents told me Hazel was enjoying her last bachelorette night with her friends. I don't know, it just felt refreshing to spend time with my parents alone without her. For the first time, I finally felt like I was at home. Hazel and I shared a room as a kid, but after I moved out, the room became hers, where she lived until now, as a 28-year-old adult, jobless, remember? My parents moved my luggage into the room as Hazel was out partying, and she would be leaving the house the next day anyways. I felt uncomfortable sleeping on her bed and went to the guest room. The following day, when I woke up, I realized that one of my luggages was still in Hazel's room, so I actually went to go and fetch it. Hazel opened the door after several knocks, and I realized it was 6 a.m. and too early for the princess. I apologized and just asked for my bag, which was in her room. She did not let me inside the room, and I just stood outside while she scrambled my bag with her packed suitcases, and she dragged the luggage out of the room. The door opened, and I saw a man lying on the bed. I thought he was Alex, and I swiftly took the luggage and left. The wedding was at 4 p.m. My parents had arranged a traditional breakfast at our house for us to relish our last meal together. Technically, it wasn't the last meal, but you know how traditions are. Sitting at the dinner table, I casually asked Hazel if Alex had left. She acted surprised, and so was everyone. And Hazel said she was not supposed to meet her future husband before the ceremony. I was dumbfounded. Hazel was still that confident liar she used to be as a kid, and I thought she was hiding Alex's presence from my parents to respect the tradition. However, as the conversation unfolded, I got suspicious if that man in her room was really Alex or not. Just then, my mother gets a call from Alex. Well, Alex had just reached the venue resorting with his parents and relatives, who lived in a different state, by the way. This means Alex was not in the city the previous night. Hazel cheated on her fiancé just on her wedding day. How pathetic. I stared at her, but she acted as if nothing happened, and after breakfast, my parents disappeared for the wedding arrangement, so I pulled Hazel aside and said, "Wasn't the man in your room Alex?" Her exact reply was, "No. Why would I sleep with the man I'm supposed to legally sleep with for the rest of my life?" Well, I was stunned. I aptly berated her for cheating on her fiancé on her wedding day of all days, and she said it's not really a big deal and I'm just overreacting. I could not wrap my head around this. Amid this, my mom asked us to get ready to leave for the venue, and we were supposed to reach the venue 4 to 5 hours before the ceremony to oversee the arrangements. We both nodded to her order. As soon as she left, I asked Hazel if Alex knew about her affair. She said that he did not need to know, and he was getting a girl well beyond his league. He should be content with that. I tried to impart some morals to her, saying she should not set up her relationship based on a lie, and I asked her to confess to Alex to be his faithful wife. She literally laughed at me, saying getting relationship advice from a novice like me was funny. She declared that she would not confess anything to anyone and that I should stop being nosy. When we reached the wedding resort, my parents and I greeted Alex, and his parents at the other resort section. I felt humbled to meet Alex. His parents were warm and courteous, and they were soft-spoken, mannered, and kind people, especially his mother. They were utterly opposite to Hazel and my mom, and his parents congratulated me for being an independent girl and doing great in my career. I had never received such praise from my family ever. Their kindness concerned me about the trap they were about to get into. When both of my parents got indulged in discussing the rituals, Alex and I chatted about work and career. He sounded a very decent man, and I wonder how he felt in the claws of her wicked sister. I asked him how they met, and he said that they met at a party once and was mesmerized by my sister's beauty. They later connected over social media, and within a few months, Hazel proposed to him. Of course she wasn't stupid to let go of an heir of a millionaire businessman. I was surprised that he had met Hazel only a handful of times and found her to be extremely naive, soft-spoken, and a humble woman. Hazel was none of that. She had pretended herself to be some perfect person for this Prince Charming. The conversation made me super uncomfortable, and I don't know if my professional etiquette or moral obligation drove me to reveal Hazel's truth to Alex. Or maybe it was just revenge. I went straight to Hazel's room, where she was waiting for her beautician to arrive. Her friends were also on the way, and I literally threatened her to confess to Alex or else I'll reveal her secret to everybody. Hazel gave me a stern look and said that no one would even believe me, as my parents, as usual, will just take her side like they did when she slept with my first boyfriend. She added that our house did not have a camera, and no one had seen the man inside the house except for me, so it was better that I just shut up. Otherwise, I would just be a wicked old woman who can't stand her little sister getting married into a reputable family, well, who's wealthy. She was evil but not stupid. What she said made a lot of sense, and nobody would believe me, and I would make a fool of myself, so I gathered the evidence. Although I gave her the ultimatum of exposing her, I could not get the proof. I was loitering around the venue picking up my brain cells to find the evidence, and meanwhile, her friends, makeup artists, cameramen, and other service providers started to flood in. After a while, I saw some of her friends briefing the DJ on the wedding playlist. I casually joined them in discussion. An idea clicked when one of her friends brought Hazel's laptop to share the playlist. You know, the one that was specially curated by Hazel. I got hyperactivated, suggesting some cool remixes in between, and I told the girls to get ready, as the ceremony would commence soon, while I took full responsibility for guiding the music band. They left, leaving the unlocked laptop right there for me. I quickly scavenged through all the folders and files, but my success rate was nil. While staring at my empty browser just to find a way, I noticed Hazel's face in the top right corner, indicating that she was logged into the laptop. I swiftly opened up her emails and, well, there it was. Although I could not find any pictures or videos, I found countless emails of hotel bookings with the name of her affair partner. So, I forwarded the details, and I could now lay my hands on and deleted all history of tampering. I went to Hazel's room and whispered in her ears that she should really confess to Alex before the vows, or else I'll show the evidence to everybody. She turned pale and agreed to admit it. Some of you are probably thinking that was the good thing that, well, the confession would serve. I was aware of the consequences, yet I felt it was better for Alex to know where he was getting involved into. I wanted Alex to know the truth and then make a choice. My heart was getting heavy with the burden of the truth. To be honest, I was not ready to expose Hazel. I did not know how to tell everyone that the bride was sleeping with someone else that previous night. I just expected Hazel to confess so that I could be saved. My heart got heavier as I kept waiting for her to confess and waiting. Meanwhile, the venue was beaming with lots of energy. The groomsmen, bridesmaids were seen ready to perform their duties, and both sides of her parents cheerfully greeted the guest. Finally, it was about time for Hazel to walk down the aisle. Trust me, guys, that was the most challenging moment for me as I contemplated whether to reveal the secret. I only wanted to stay shut because of my parents. I did not want to embarrass them, but on the other hand was Alex's future. I realized that a moment, a few days of embarrassment is more tolerable than letting someone's life get ruined. While I was lost in my thoughts, Hazel was already up there, ready to read her vows, and as she began reading, I could not hold back myself. I went on the podium and whispered to Alex that I wanted to show him something and it had to be done. Hazel said that nothing could be as important as the wedding at this point, and I insisted to Alex that, oh no, this is very important. Hazel turned pale as Alex gestured at the pastor to halt the vows just for a moment. So I took him aside while revealing the truth and showing the evidence on my phone. Standing on the other end of the podium, Hazel raced toward us and tried to stop me, but Alex held her hand to stay back. Both sides of the parents soon joined us in the conversation, and it's difficult for me to describe what happened next. In short, the room was filled with hushed voices, snarky eye contact, and smirky lips. While some praised me for my courage, others cursed me for ruining my family's reputation. Alex and Hazel locked themselves in the room. Alex's parents held my hand and thanked me profusely for risking my family's reputation just to save their son's future. I just sat beside my father, sitting in a corner with his head buried into his palms. Tears rolled down my eyes as my mother lost 7 hells on me, accusing of framing my sister for simple revenge. Well, after an hour, Alex came out of the room and threw off the engagement ring. I guess that he was hinting at calling off the marriage, and he shortly left the venue with his parents and relatives. Our guests started going, and that's when reality hit me pretty hard. Hazel was still in the room, where she was consoled by my mother and her army of friends and relatives, who were ready to slaughter me. I did not dare to enter the battlefield, so I kept sitting with my father, who said nothing after my revelation. Soon, right after Alex and the guests left, my father looked at me and asked me to leave. I don't know whether he said that angrily or wanted to protect me from my mother and sister's absolute rage. I left the venue, went to my parents' house, and picked up my belongings, and I returned home. The day after the incident, I called my mom to explain my actions, but she blamed me for plotting all this just to ruin my sister's life. Well, I've got hundreds of cruel voicemails from my sister threatening to destroy my life. It's been a week since that day, and I still feel restless. So I ask you guys, am I the a-hole for exposing my sister's cheating affair that she had on her own wedding day? What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I'm just gonna be real. Today's story is a wild one. There is 3 updates to hop into, so let's go ahead and hop into update number 1. But if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, take a second, hit that subscribe button right now, and, well, here's your first update. Hey y'all. Thanks for the overwhelming support. I know it's been 8 months since I posted my story, but I have news. After that incident, I was literally abandoned by my family. Apart from the occasional threats from my sister, I was deeply troubled by the incident that had to seek therapy just to eliminate some guilt. While this, I met Liam. I met him through some common friends, and we really hit it off. I'll tell ya. It's been over 6 months since we were officially started dating, and we've both intended to take this long term. However, Liam is concerned that I'm not accepting him openly. I mean, I've never posted our pictures on any social media. He's met a few of my friends, but anyone who knows me only virtually would not have a sniff of Liam. In fact, I don't let him take or post any of my pictures or tag me either. And that's why he says that he's so concerned. I hope you guys understand the reason why I'm doing this. I know my sister very well. She's waiting like a hurt little lion, ready to pounce on me at the slightest opportunity that she gets. Well, I considered blocking her, but I'm aware of her stalking abilities. Besides, she has an army of jobless friends who would assist her in her stalking job. If she learns about Liam, I'm sure she would leave no stone unturned to tarnish my relationship. By the way, I'm yet to inform Liam about this incident. I'm afraid he would misunderstand me and take me as selfish and vindictive. It's not that I don't want to reveal this to him, ever, but I'm waiting for our bond to get stronger before I tell him. I have a strong feeling for Liam, and I don't want to lose him. I need solid suggestions from you all. Should I tell Liam why I'm hiding him from social media, which means I should tell him the truth about my relationship with my sister? Will that ruin my bond with Liam? Update number 2. Hey guys, I know it's been 3 months since my last update, and I just want to thank you for advice. I told Liam with a throbbing heart that he would label me as vindictive. I think I underestimated his maturity. He patted me for my courageous move and said that Hazel deserved to be exposed in front of hundreds of people, along with the photos and videos, and, well, he's also saying he's sad that I did not confiscate those evidence. I was relieved. I explained to him the reason why I did not post pictures with him on social pages. He laughed at it and said he wasn't a kid to be manipulated by Hazel. He asked me if there was anything that I was hiding from him, and I said no, because I'd narrated to him every necessary detail of my life, including Hazel sleeping with my first boyfriend. He assured me nothing to worry about if I was not hiding anything from him. I took a deep breath of relief. I gradually started posting our pictures on social media and allowed him to tag me and post mine. However, when I changed my relationship status to committed to Liam, Hazel sent him a follow request, of course, because, well, his profile's private. By the way, Liam moved in with me after I confronted him. He showed me the request and said, now the fun begins. As soon as he accepted her request, she started her game. She told him how terrible I was, how I ruined her life by framing her, and how I humiliated my parents in front of hundreds of guests. She tried all mean things to brainwash Liam. Liam told me that he would play along with her for a while, and I was scared that I was being played by him, but I chose to trust Liam. He responded to Hazel in a way that he was convinced by her. He told her that he would break up with me. It gave her the confidence to flirt with him, and I was worried about her move. To assure me, Liam gave me access to his social media accounts so that I could just keep a tab on everything. I'll be honest with you guys, I did keep a very sharp eye on it for a while. Hazel went as far that she sent him semi-naked pictures and insisted that he sleeps with her. That's when he rebuked her and got the crap out of her. Liam clarified that he loved me and that her malice practice won't affect him, and he even recorded all the chat conversations and pictures that Hazel sent before she blocked him. Liam insisted I share that information with my parents just to reveal Hazel's shallowness. My parents needed to know how she went so far as to get back at me, that she was ready to sleep with Liam. How disgusting. I did what Liam suggested. After receiving my emails, my father called and said that he was proud of me. He stated that some neighbors confirmed seeing a man sneak out of Hazel's window on the wedding day. He apologized to me that he could not stand by my side on that day when everybody cursed me for breaking the wedding. That call turned out to be an emotional reunion between us. He said that Mom still supported Hazel despite all this truth coming out, and he wants to run away from both of them. I invited him to come to my house for a little vacation. He was here for a few days last week, and Liam and my father got along well and spent quality time together. So, that's it. I'm feeling happy to have my father back in my life, and I'm thankful to Liam for supporting me in this. And thank you guys for bearing with me. I'll update you if anything else happens. Update number 3. Hey guys, I know it's been a year since my last post, and well, Liam and I have been traveling a lot. This is the most fulfilling relationship I've ever been in, and I want to treasure it and give it my all. Apart from this, my work kept me busy most of the time, but here is a few updates. When Dad returned home after visiting me, my mother and Hazel pounced on him for keeping in touch with me, and my father absolutely lost his patience and gave them a taste of their own medicine. He gave 3 months to Hazel to get a job and move out, and she was already 29 with no income and ever-increasing expenses, and overflowing tantrums just to top it off. Hazel did not take it seriously. She did not even try to give any interviews. She thought that Dad was not serious about the timeline. Even if he was, she was sure Mom would back her up. 3 months passed, and Hazel had no job. Dad asked her to leave the house, and my mother tried to intervene, but Dad was adamant about cutting off Hazel financially. Mom tried all means to convince Dad, but he laid clear options for Mother. Either a penniless daughter or a comfortable life with her husband. Well, can you guess what my mom chose? Yeah, the second one. Hazel left the house with her giant ego and lounged at her friend's couch for about a month. She waited for my parents to miss her and take her back, but my parents did not do any of that. In fact, my mom aptly rebuked her and asked her to take up a job. Later, she was forced to work as a receptionist job just to earn a little bit of money. She did not attend college, so she's not eligible for any corporate job. I last heard that she was fired from her previous company for incompetence. She's living paycheck to paycheck, and my mother also cannot help her because of my dad's determination. Well, that's about it, guys. I pity her, though. I think she deserves it. Wow. What do y'all say?
Finally, we get a story where the parents get some sense at the end of it. And Hazel, she's not doing so well anymore, but I think that's because of karma. I mean, she was a crappy person. Cheated on her soon-to-be husband, did not care about her sibling, did not care about her parents, heck, didn't care about anybody. So now she's suffering, and it's all her fault. The comments, well, I would read some of them, but they all say the same thing, how everyone just can't stand Hazel. Let me know your thoughts about this story, though, guys. Let's discuss this one in the comment section. I do have a question for y'all. If you were in OP's position, would you have exposed her like she did in front of everybody so the whole world can see? Let me know if you would have done that or done it differently, maybe in private. Just let me know what you're thinking. Drop your comments down below. If you guys are new to the channel, my name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories every single day. If you want to see more videos, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification icon so you get notified whenever I upload a video. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.